Today's appeal is less about her hoping that she'll get off scot-free. It's more about trying to reduce her sentence because, as you said, in her original trial in 2019, Yena Madani was sentenced to 30 years behind bars for attempting to blow up a car full of gas canisters outside the Notre-Dame Cathedral in 2016 on a very busy street in central Paris opposite a very busy restaurant. She was also found guilty of belonging to a terrorist group and also attempting to lunge at a police officer with a knife when they were trying to arrest her. In that original trial, she received that sentence of 30 years, which is considered to be rather a tough sentence because that was the number of years that prosecutors had argued for throughout that trial. Her lawyers said it was too tough, arguing that her young age, she was just 19 at the time of the events, the fact that public opinion could have swayed the judge's opinion because terrorist attacks are far too frequent in France and a very sensitive subject here. And also the fact that Yena Madani wasn't the only person to be involved in the plot, but she was one of the people who received the harshest sentences.
Indeed, Yena, she wasn't the only one involved in the plot. So what has happened to the others?
Well, there were 8 people who were tried and convicted in that original 2019 trial. The only person who received a harsher sentence than Yena Madani was Rashid Kassim, who received a life sentence, but he was sentenced in absentia because it was reported that he was killed in an airstrike in Iraq in 2017. If he was considered to be the mastermind behind the Notre-Dame plot, Yena Madani, according to prosecutors, was some sort of a ringleader of a group of radicalized women. Indeed, out of the 8 people, 6 of them were women, 4 of whom who received more than 20-year sentences for their role in the Notre-Dame plot. None of them, by the way, are appealing, just Yena Madani. At the time, François Molins, the then Paris prosecutor, said it was outdated to consider that the Islamic State group thought of women as people who should only be doing domestic chores, implying that women were taking a greater role in domestic terrorism. This was and is a case that really highlights the role of women in domestic terrorism here in France.
Yena Lee.